Hey guys, Nike here. Today's video is about how to get into Guild Wars 1 if you're a new player who hasn't played the game before. I'll go over two ways that I recommend to approach the game based on the sort of gamer you are and what sort of experience you're looking to get out of it. The first part will be for a more casual, story-based, and immersive experience. And the second will be more of a power game min-max approach by people who are looking to rush to the endgame content and accelerate towards their GWAM title as quickly as possible. I'm going to assume anybody playing also has bought the complete collection and has access to every expansion. So if you're looking to experience the story and get immersed in the world, I would highly recommend starting with Prophecies. Unless you're absolutely positively committed and heart set on one of the expat classes, like Assassin or Dervish, I would start with Prophecies. The reason is simple. Experiencing pre-searing Ascalon is one of the best classic MMO experiences there is, and going through the searing is so important for the story of the entire Guild Wars franchise as a whole that I couldn't in good conscience recommend doing anything other than starting with Prophecies. Yes, it means you're limited to core classes only, but in reality that's only a problem if you really had your heart set on one of the others. So start with Prophecies and do the story in order. Now, when it comes to the story and progression, my advice is to stay in pre-searing as long as you can, since it's a one-way street. Do every side quest available to you, especially the ones that give skill unlocks. Only once you've worn out your welcome should you move on. Once you go through the searing, again, do the story in order, and as far as the many side quests you get, do as many or as few as you find interesting. But I would strongly encourage you to do every side quest that unlocks skills, as skills are hugely valuable, and those tend to be more interesting side quests to boot. Once you finish Prophecies, for sure, move on to Factions. You have two options here. The first is to continue to Factions with your max level Prophecies character, or experience the early game experience of Factions with a brand new Factions character. If you're a completist who wants to see absolutely everything, roll a new character, either an Assassin or a Ritualist for Factions. And if you want to stay immersed in your main, that's totally fine too, and keep going on your Prophecies character, if that's what you want. Repeat this same step for Nightfall. Once you reach Eye of the North, if you've been on the same character the whole time, then, just keep going. If you've made a new character for each X-Pack, you should pick the one that you've liked best of the three and do the Eye of the North on that one, since there are no new classes with Eye of the North, and it's basically all endgame content. If you finish Eye of the North, you can dabble in some of the endgame content like Dungeons, Underworld, Domain of Anguish, etc. Or if you'd rather experience more story, you can go right into the War in Kryta and Winds of Change stories, which are sort of like more challenging living world chapters for Guild Wars 1 that help sort of bridge the story to Guild Wars 2. Now, if you're a min-maxer and want to rush endgame and story isn't particularly relevant to you, I have a bit of a different advice. Below the video in the description is a link to a written guide telling you the min-maxed way to unlock a meta team of heroes. Having a full team of well-skilled, well-geared heroes will make literally everything you want to do much, much easier and much faster. Follow this guide to the letter and you will be blasting through everything the game has to offer quite efficiently. Doing it this way means not following the story in any real order, as it's based on target unlocking the best heroes from different X-Packs as early as possible, with the end goal of reaching the meta Mesmerway team setup. Once you have the meta Mesmerway team setup and your character is well geared, you have two real choices, though they're not really mutually exclusive. If you are only interested in a solo experience, you should continue to invest in your hero team and min-max their gear. I would strongly consider buying some mercenary slots from the cash shop, because the mercenary Mesmerway team comp is a bit more powerful than the non-mercenary version. On the other hand, if you want, you can play with other players in speed clears and should look up the meta player builds and gearing for that, since it's quite a bit different. The speed clear scene in Guild Wars 1 is big enough that if you apply the amount of research and effort you would put into learning raids or dungeons in other games, you'll have no problem fitting into pugs in Guild Wars 1 speed clears. One caveat with the speed clears in Guild Wars 1 is that the meta is extremely well defined, and not every class is welcome in every instance. People will expect you to play the exact correct build for the role and that you're expected to play. If you want to speed clear in Guild Wars 1, you need to pick your main carefully, and for that you should look at the different speed clear comps and see what professions come up the most often and consider playing one of those. Additionally, it varies instance to instance, so a profession that is meta for, say, Shards of Ore speed clear might be totally non-meta in the deep speed clear. That said, I assume anybody who gets to this level of commitment will have no trouble re-rolling, leveling, and gearing a new character for the exact content that they want to do. Anyway, guys, that's it for me. Thanks for watching. Please leave any comments you had below. I'd like to hear what you have to say, and I hope to see you guys in game for the Guild Wars 1 event for the rest of this month. See you next time.